Hi, it's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, and I am improvising here. Many of you were scheduled to come on the scheduled event, and the reason why I couldn't do it is this. I don't know if you can tell, but the light is the light is now off. So on the keyboard, the light's on, but the frame itself is blank. And probably died, 5 times in the last 20 minutes as I was just about to, get everything set up to complete my live broadcast. And well, now the keyboard is on again. It's really hard to see it. If you look kind of down inside, you can see the lights underneath here. It's interesting. There's something wrong because just moving it, the lights on the keyboard go out, and now they've gone back on. So there's some kind of a short or something in my MacBook Pro, which is very, very sad. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so far it appears as if no one is actually watching. So if by any chance you are watching, let me see here. It's been a while since I've done a live broadcast on this is uh, on my iPhone. It's been a while since I've done a broadcast on the iPhone. So I guess I need to know if, let me see here. All right. Well, let me just, let me just press forward here. I'm going to trust that my microphone's working and that you can see me. And I'm not going to go in, I won't do a long broadcast here because I can't field your questions with my iPhone, and I apologize. So the topic was to be today power. It's a power to sing number 50, and I feel so bad that I didn't get to be able to do number 50 as scheduled, and because that's a really great number, isn't it? But I didn't want to not do one today. So I wanted to be able to share this message with you today about use your voice to win fans. And so using your own voice, I have so many I, I have so many students. I think almost the majority of students I have aren't that excited about their own voice, and I understand that. I remember taking lessons early on, and back then I would record them with a cassette tape, and I would pop them in the cassette tape deck in the car. Anybody still have those? And I would kind of excitedly turn it on and listen, and I would be so disappointed because there was no what the way it sounded and the way I thought it would sound was so completely different. I was so disappointed. Well, that has changed over the years. I can't remember really how long it took before I felt okay about my voice. But I will say that within about 6 months after I discovered this technique that is called speech level singing, that's taught by Seth Riggs, my voice was, I gained enough confidence in my voice that I started auditioning. And so I guess you could say that I felt well enough about my voice at that point that I would put myself out there, right? And so that's a bit of a jump from going from maybe not liking the sound of your voice to feeling confident enough to go and audition for theater. And that's what I like to do. I like to do musical theater. And I suppose an equivalent thing could be to go and do karaoke, or go sing with a band, or start your band, or start singing with the guitar, or sing with your own piano accompaniment, or what other instrument you have. So I'll tell you a story. One time I was talking to someone, and I said, I just happened to mention I really liked Barbra Streisand. I thought I think she's a great singer, a great artist, and so I just was saying I really like Barbra Streisand, and they said, oh, I don't like her voice at all, and it just like blew me away, because I think she's a spectacular singer, just natural. Great voice, and does so many things technically so amazingly, and Academy Award winner and Grammy Award winner, and I think she's got some Grammys, and just fantastic voice and actress, and when they said I don't like Barbra Streisand's voice at all, it kind of hit me, because I was concerned when I performed that, that people really liked my voice. And I began to realize that if not everybody just loved, this fabulous singer and actress and performer, Barbra Streisand, why would I think that everybody would like my voice? You see the logic there? If we're so if I'm so tied up and so demanding of myself that I expect that in an audience of 500 or 1,000 or whatever people, in the venue that I perform, there's about 520 seats in it, and over a period of 4 or 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 shows a week. I don't know how many thousands of people would hear me sing, but I used to really feel like I had to have like 100% of everybody love my voice, or it wasn't successful. I began to realize that I'm never going to have everybody like my voice. And so why would I want to try and change then? Why do I want to chase another sound? And I think this is one reason why many students don't want to sound like themselves. They want to sound like uh, their idol, and so they want to know, well, how do I get scratch in my voice? How do I get it scratchy? And or how do I scream? Or what are some other things that people like to do that get some distortion in it? And those are the things I try and get out of the voice because of the damage it's doing to the voice. But people don't like their voice, so they're chasing the sound of another artist that they like and they admire. And I think that's a really big mistake. But here's what we need to do. We need to be able to become the best of our voice. And whatever that ends up being, then we need to live with that. And I think you're going to find that if you get the best of your voice, the best of your sound, then you are going to really win fans. Why? Because it's genuine, it's real, it's you. It's just like, I remember one time I was in high school and it was dusk. We'd just gotten out of basketball practice or something. And I'm walking somewhere out to the parking lot, and it was so that people could see my silhouette coming. And someone said, "Hey, Gilmore." And I said, "How did you know it was me?" And they said, "I could tell by the way you walk." Well, people can tell a lot by the way you sound. If you have siblings, or if you have, if you have brothers or sisters, and if you're a male, brothers, or your father, they pick up the phone and they say, you pick up the phone and say hello, and they think it's your brother, or they think it's your dad if your voice has changed. Or girls the same way. They answer the phone, they think it's your mother. And we, with the exception of our own family, the bony structure, everything about it, all the genetics that come into play with our voices, we may sound similar to a sibling or a family member, but in a very unique in a very special way, it's a very unique voice, like the way you walk. So when people hear you talk, they identify that as you. And when they hear you sing, they identify that as you. But when they hear you sing, they sense or feel that that's not really your voice. Then there's not an immediate connection. There's a disconnect because they can feel there's something artificial in it, and that artificialness prevents an immediate connection, even if it's not like John Lennon or Stevie Wonder or Barbra Streisand or Beyonce or Michael Jackson or whoever your idol is that you want to sound with, even if it's not them. In fact, because it's not them, and because we're not trying to be like somebody else, there's a realness, an immediacy that they can connect to, and there's an honesty, and there's a vulnerability with your own voice. And so, but we give up on ourselves. Maybe if I had quit early on because I didn't like the way my voice sounded on the cassette tape as I was driving home from my voice lesson, where would that, what would I have missed out on in life? So we judge ourselves harshly, and we talked about this in an earlier video, because we want to sound like somebody else. Use your own voice, and I promise you, someone someday, and I'm saying you do want to develop the best of your voice, but whatever the best becomes, someday someone will come up to you and say, I love your voice. I love your voice. There's something about it I can connect to. And I've had people come up and tell me they love my voice. They're always happy to see that I'm going to be on stage that night and so forth. And I can't tell you how gratifying that is. But realistically, we've got to understand that not everybody is going to like your voice. So stop obsessing over it. Do the best you can in the development of your voice. Stop obsessing over it, and let your true fans begin to emerge. Lose yourself in your song, lose yourself in your message, and continue to try and improve and develop and refine your voice. And as you do, people are going to be coming along and will be your fans. You don't have to have a whole lot to make a great living. And I've shared this in the past video this last week, I think, where I said, like, Lady Gaga's got 71 million Twitter followers or something. And I could say, you'd probably say those are true monster fans, right? But that's only 1% of the population of the earth, of 7 billion people on the earth. And so she's making, a gazillion dollars a year. I don't know, Lady Gaga, I don't know what your earnings are, but I know you're doing very well, and I congratulate you. Ladies and gentlemen, even if we just had 1% of a population base, it could be a wonderful living for ourselves as singers. And so you don't need so on any given night, if I have a population of 500 people watching a show, I think maybe 100, 100 at least, are probably going to say, "Oh no, not him. I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he acts. I wish I was doing something else." Another 100 are going to say, "Yeah, I can take him or leave him." Another 100 are going to be completely like, "I don't even know who he is." Another 100 are going to say, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I know who he is. I like him." And another 100 are going to say, "Oh gosh, he's my favorite. I love his voice." That's 20%. Like 20% of the population of that night really love my voice. But 80% are, from lukewarm to total, desire to go somewhere else. That's life. Do you like everybody's voice? Do you like every singer? There's some great singers out there in the world, the very best, at the top of their game. And most people don't like their voices, but they do have diehard true fans. But they have them based on their own unique voice. They're not trying to sound like somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that we don't combine influences. We do combine influences. But if we're chasing a sound with our own voice, in so much that we introduce unwanted tension, some kind of manipulation, some false sense of, what's real. It's going to show, it's going to shine right through. Find your own voice, find your own style, focus in on the genres that you love. You can be influenced by singers that you love, but trying to sound like them is a mistake. You can adopt some of their styling, some of their other artistry that they bring, but trying to sound like another person is to shortchange your voice and shortchange you. You want people to love you. You don't want people to love somebody else and they kind of like you because you might sound a little bit like them. So that's really the message today. Use your own voice to get fans. And as you do that, they will love you for it. And you'll develop a relationship with them that will be mutually beneficial your whole singing career. And so that's the advice I want to give you. Don't give up on your voice just because you don't sound like somebody that you want to sound like. Continue to work to develop, to find that sound. Keep working to get your basic sound, your fundamental voice, and get it comfortable and get it so you can use it in songs, and then let the chips fall where they may. And you're going to find out that you're going to have a great time. You're not going to be obsessing because you don't sound like so-and-so, and just go do your thing. Always improving, always refining your voice and your sound. Thank you. I apologize for the problem with the other broadcast that was scheduled, but my computer, as I mentioned, is still dead. Blah. What worries me is it's going to be thousands of dollars of expense. I don't know. So my trusty little cell phone here, I'm hoping, is going to work so that you can at least see the rebroadcast. Thank you very much. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. This is number 50, even though now this one came up unscheduled because it's a broadcast through my cell phone. I'm going to leave this as broadcast number 50. Use your own voice to get fans. And I promise you that this is the course you want to follow with the development of your voice. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks.